True. I think this is a good transition into the next question, which is, why is it important for your brand to say that it's women of color owned and operated?
Oh, I love this question. We just had an article that came out in Marie Clare that kind of spoke about being a woman of color in the skincare space. And growing up as an immigrant, I grew up in Kentucky, which not a lot of people know. Yeah. So I grew up in Kentucky. And going shopping for, something as simple as face wash was always like a thing where I looked at the marketing, I looked at who represented the brand, and I would never see myself in the branding. Like I was always like, I think I can use this, sure, And it's not to say that if you're not a woman of color, you can't use it, but I feel like the representation within the beauty space is definitely shifting. And I think that, the whole Black Lives Matter and just so many different political things that are happening have definitely influenced that in such a positive way, where brands are understanding that it's important to represent the minority, and I think for me it's just a sense of giving women who are of color, who maybe feel like they don't deserve to be in a space like that, or that they can't be in a space like that because they haven't seen it, giving them that kind of little push to being you can be in this space too. I'm in a sense it's welcoming, welcome to a space that was created by someone that looks like you, and you too can create a space like this for other people.
Yeah, it's so intimidating to walk down the aisle, even at a CVS or a grocery store. I live in Portland, so it's really hard to find women of color owned products. There are companies that are being born in the same way during the pandemic that I'm really grateful for. But it's just knowing that the maker, the creator, understands me is huge.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think with that also, I think that people are really interested in now knowing who's creating these things. And I think now brands are understanding that it's oh shit, we got to switch up our website a little bit to make everybody feel welcomed. And I don't necessarily think that sometimes you need to photograph every skin tone, but I think it's the message that they give through how they present themselves, whether it's with social or just any print things that they do, whatever. It's what message are you spreading from the heart, not through a picture, because I can see a person that looks like me on your website, but what does your company really represent? So for us, I think that it's just so important to be honest. It's just be true to what you believe, and people who are gonna fuck with it are gonna fuck with it, and people who are not, that's okay. There's a space for everybody. And that's why, going back to what you were speaking about earlier, when it's well, everyone's doing it, why should I? Is because unfortunately, Skin My Gem is going to resonate with so many people, but it won't resonate with everybody. So that's where somebody else comes in and they're okay, I want to create skincare that'll maybe resonate with these people, and I want to create skincare that's going to resonate with these people. Hopefully everyone has good intentions behind it, but that's why it's just so important to experiment and try, I think, and then just staying true to yourself within that journey.
Right.
Yeah. And it's worth it to just go out there and give yourself permission to experiment and go on that journey. I think a lot of people, especially people in our community, they're really hardworking. They have really great ideas. But when it comes to that moment of do I have what it takes to jump into this and make this a real thing? That's why we're doing this, is because we want to let people know that we're all just regular schmegler girls.
Yeah.
We just
try.
Day
that's all we're doing. We're just trying out here,
We're trying. some of us don't even know what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that with Skin by Gem, going back to like me being so scared about posting like these little affirmations or like quotes in the morning, and I was like, oh, people are gonna think I'm so whack. But you know, like if a quote reaches somebody, like just anybody a day, then like my purpose has been fulfilled for that day. You know, it's like my intention with Skin by Gem is to always let people know on the other side of the screen that they are worthy, that they are valuable, that they can do it, and that they should do it. You know, like don't give up, because I also feel like sometimes I was very fortunate to grow up with a mother who really like pushed me forward, and she never made me feel like I couldn't do anything. But the reality is we all don't have that support system. So through the company, I was like, well, how can I be that support system for like future entrepreneurs, so that when they do, you know, tap into our social media, not only are they getting great skincare, but they also leave with a sense of like, oh shit, like that could be me, like I could do this.
Right. I love that. And I feel like also something that resonated with me while you were talking about your product, it is energy. And we talk about that a lot on here, because people who do create products, like that's part of an extension of their energy. And I know that like everything that you send out, like you can feel a part of you, and you know that that's made with love too. And I feel like that makes a huge difference.
Yeah. So. I'm over here like
love and a little holy water.
Yeah. Every single little package. Okay. We'll do a like, because a lot of people are actually interested in like how we live our daily lives. So I'll pick one of these. Do you have any outside interests that help inspire the business? And how do you make time for that? If you do.
Ooh, that time part. I feel like I don't sleep.
Right?
Yeah, so my outside interests are all nature related. Again, it just goes back to my childhood, and growing up in Mexico, my grandparents had pretty much a farm. Like we grew up around goats, we grew up around sheep, we grew up around chickens, we grew up around horses, we grew up around donkeys. Like we had it all, little pigs, like we had everything. So nature has always been something that I think really puts me on reset. And actually today I'm gonna go take a little hike, because I'm like, whoa, what's happening with this month? But
right?
Nature is something that definitely allows me to like just clear my mind and like remember what's important. And I think that because it's so connected to positive memories of my grandparents, it just naturally makes me feel like really, really great. But overall, how do I find time? One of the biggest things that I've learned is how to time manage. And this came from listening to my husband. The one time I listened, I was like, you're actually right. I do need to time manage, because I also have a 7-year-old. So It's like having a baby, being married, trying to run, you know, this, and then trying to not go crazy while doing it. I think that time management is just so important. And it's like the moment that you decide that you're going to make it happen, like for real, like the day that you really decide, like, I'm going to make this happen, you will find time. And I think that's what sets, what makes a difference. Like when you kind of want to do it, time is always going to be lacking. When you really want to do it, like you will find time, whether that means waking up at 5 a.m., whether that means going to sleep at 6 a.m., whether that means not sleeping at all sometimes, but like you will find the time to be able to do what you really want to do.
Amen. I think that's a perfect place for us to end, honestly, this episode, but this entire season, because that's such a huge lesson for everyone. Mm-hmm. If you feel like you don't have time for it, you got to ask yourself if that's what you really want to do, because you will make time for the things that you want in your life. I 1,000% agree with that.
Yeah.
And like everything is possible if you open yourself up to these possibilities.
100%. And always remember to ask for help if like you're curious about something and you don't quite understand. Like it's better to ask a question once and know the answer than to keep it to yourself and like never know, you know? So like
True.
definitely ask for help, make time for the things that you love, and stay true to yourself. I feel like that's like wrapping it all up. That's what this is about.
Before we say goodbye, where can we learn more about Skin by Gem? Where can we direct everybody?
Yeah, so you can go to skinbygem.com or at skinbygem on Instagram. And if you guys have any questions on anything, always feel free to DM us. We're here to, you know, get you on the right track with skincare.
Hey.
Who do I call if it ain't you? Tell me who to call if it ain't you. I've been pacing circles in my bedroom. I've been chasing secrets in your heirloom. Let me do what I do best. Slow down, let me talk to you. Don't tell me about your worries, I ain't staying till the afternoon. I liked you in proximity, but now they're so far from the truth. I loved you from a distance, now I can't even stay close to you. But who do I call?